Hello everyone, it's Jessica here with another video for you for ThermOWeb Design Team. Today I am making a couple cards for some birthdays that are coming up, and I'm going to show you how I do some shaker pockets using the brand new shaker strips by Gina that are in the shop, and I absolutely love them. I've used them a couple times now. So what I'm doing is I've already cut my card bases down, and I can put all of my dimensions below because I can't remember offhand, but these are just typical card dimensions where you take an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper and cut it in half and then fold those in half. So I've gotten 2 card bases out of one sheet of white 8.5 by 11 paper, and then here I have cut down my pieces that are going on the front. I've made 2 patterned papers of the blue. I am actually going to use as frames here, and I've put one behind it as well. So my frame is going to go on the very top, and then I'll use a piece of clear acetate underneath it. But I've just used my Olfa cutting mat and cutting blade to cut a small frame. I believe I made those 1/4 of an inch the whole way around. So I just lined it up using my ruler by Olfa and my cutting mat and cutting blade to make those frames. And then here I am just pulling out a stencil, and I'm going to make some fireworks on this one with some of the Deco foil duo gel. So I'm just going to tape my stencil down here real quick with some of the pixie tape from the shop. I love this stuff because you can tape it down, and I know that stencil is not going to move around anywhere, so I want to make sure that I get a good application with the gel here. So here's my duo gel. I am opening that up. I'm just using a smaller spatula just to spread some onto my stencil pal, and then I'm using that stencil pal to just go directly onto that piece of paper, right down the whole entire thing. I love the size of this. It is absolutely perfect for this because you can get the whole entire thing in a smooth application, and I just love it. It just goes on so perfectly and so smooth. And those little stencil pals come in a 2-pack, so you actually get 2 of them in 1 pack. So just cleaning off my glass mat here real quick. I'm going to clean off my stencil and everything right away because that will stick on there, so I always make sure I clean it up right away. And then I'm moving on to my other card base here. This is going to be behind my shaker pocket, and I am doing some ink blending here with some Distress Oxides in Uncharted Mariner and Lumberjack Plaid. So I'm putting blue on the bottom, and then I'm leaving the middle white and the top red. So I am kind of doing a red, white, and blue kind of firecracker theme today, and gonna make these just some beautiful birthday cards. So there, I've gotten my colors on there. The Distress Oxides do react with water, so I'm just gonna flick some water on here with my paintbrush to create a splattered marbled effect. And then I'm just gonna kind of let that dry a little bit and clean up my workspace here with my paper towel. I'm grabbing some Gina fancy foils that I'm gonna use. I couldn't decide whether I wanted to use red or the silver, so I ended up going with the silver. I thought I already have red and blue on my cards, so I'm just going to use the silver for the actual foiled part. Here, as you can see, I am using my clear acetate, and I have cut them down so that I created my window for my shaker pocket. And then I'm just using some of the easy tear tape. I think this is also the 1/4 inch size, or it might be an 1/8. I'll have to check to see which one it is. But I'll link it below for you in case you want to grab it from the shop. But I am using just that easy tear tape to adhere the clear window on there. It's just clear acetate. I just get mine from Amazon. It's super cheap. And that's just going to create my pocket for the shaker. So I have that all lined up. I had to trim off a little bit because I must have got it a little bit off center there. And then I'm drying the excess water off of that card front because it wasn't drying fast enough for me. I get a little impatient sometimes. Here, I'm gonna go ahead and run this one through my laminator. It's already heated up and ready to go and it's beeping at me. So I was gonna wait for the duo gel to dry on that one and run them together, but I figured, you know what, this one's ready to go. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put my foil on top using the silver matte side down and your shiny colored side up facing you. And then as you can see, it came out all sparkly and beautiful. So that card front's done. I'm gonna go ahead and work on the rest of this card. So I'm gonna finish creating my shaker pocket by grabbing these shaker strips and just applying them the whole way around this pocket. And that little frame that I made is going to actually cover up anything as far as the adhesive goes. So you will never see any of this unless you're looking from the side, but really doesn't look like much. It just looks like adhesive foam. So baby girl is at my feet right now. She's playing. So if you hear her, she's down there playing. So I'm just finishing adding my strips here. I just cut off little pieces to fill in the little gaps that I had left. And then I'm gonna add all these beautiful sequins. These sequin mixes today that I'm using are from the Not Just for Boys Kit Club. So I've grabbed a couple of those in the red, white, and blue type theme. And I'm just taking off the backing pieces of my shaker strips. And then I am applying my backing for this, which you will see through there. So there's my beautiful little shaker pocket. It's all finished. And then I'll go ahead and finish up this card. It's gonna sit on that patterned blue paper. The papers that I'm using today are from a Slice of Summer collection by Echo Park. So I had some scraps of paper left from that collection that I'm trying to use up. So it was just perfect for these cards, and they match really, really well. I just love the colors of that. It's kind of not a super in your face type of blue, but it's like a muted type of blue, or kind of a little darker. So I really like that color. And then here, my other one is still drying, so I'm just gonna set it aside, and I'm gonna work on the rest of this one. So this is going to be for the outside of my card, but my little phrase on the very bottom. So I've just stamped that a couple times using a stamp set by Heidi Swap. And then I'm just going to cut it out just with some scissors. And then here I've cut some insides for my cards, and I think the dimensions are something like 4 by 5.5, if I remember right. I think that's the inside. And then I cut a little piece of the red pattern paper to go around that. That's just a teeny tiny bit bigger than that. So I think that's my dimensions. So here I'm just stamping Happy Birthday and Sparkle and Shine by a couple of stamp sets. The Happy Birthday one's by Stampin' Up, and then the Sparkle and Shine is also that Heidi Swap Fireworks one. Baby girl is just loving that I'm editing this video right now. So here I'm just gonna stamp a few more little fireworks just to bring in the beautiful red, white, and blue kind of feel and a celebration, because these are birthday cards, so I want to make them happy and fun. And I just love fireworks, and I love using these stamps and anything fireworks related. It's funny because I used to have horses, and I never really liked fireworks, but I do love fireworks. I don't like them around animals, if that makes sense. But yeah, so here I'm just attaching this to the pattern paper that I mentioned earlier, and I just use some of the Easy Tear tape. I like the 1/2 inch size for this. It's a little bit bigger to work with, so it covers a little bit more surface area. And I know that's not going anywhere. It's stuck down really well. So here I'm just cutting down another sheet of the fancy foil to go on my Duo gel. It's been setting here to dry probably about 40 minutes. I think on the packaging it says to leave it dry for 45 minutes, but it was about that. So yeah, I ran it through my laminator, and while that's running through, I'm gonna finish up the shaker pocket. There it comes out. It's in its glory and its sparkly, shiny, shimmery goodness. And I have this shaker pocket ready to go, but I'm not finished with this. I thought I was gonna leave it the way it is and just put my sparkles in there, but I thought, you know what, I wanna do some ink blending on this one too. So I did the same effect. I did the blue on the bottom, left it white in the middle, and did red at the top. And normally I would take a paper towel over this after I do the ink blending just to wipe it off, but I completely forgot on both of these. But you know what? It worked out fine. You can still see the sparkly foil goodness through that, and everything foiled just fine. So apparently it doesn't matter if you wipe it off or not, because I forgot. So I did the same effect there. I splattered some water on it. I'm just drying it up a little bit and peeling that backing off. I should have waited. I started peeling it off. Usually I peel it off after I add my sequins, just so I don't get any strays like that one there that kind of sticks to it. So I added my sequins, and then I'm peeling the rest of that backing off, and then I'm going to stick it down to my backing sheet here that's going to be behind it. Just being very careful to line it up real good and make sure all the sides are stuck down. And there's my other little second shaker pocket. I had a couple big ones that are just kind of stuck in a couple places, but I'm not too worried about it. It's fine. So here's the inside. I did some machine stitching on my sewing machine, which is a Brother sewing machine, and I don't use any special needle or anything. I just use my same needles, and I do change it out though whenever I switch to fabric. So because paper does tend to dull your sewing machine needles really quickly. So if I switch to fabric, I make sure I change it back. Here's my little phrases on the front. I've just attached it with some easy tear tape, and then I'm attaching my card front to the actual card base using that same technique. And I'm just gonna add a little fun stamp on the back. Sometimes people like to flip them over. I have a little stamp that says something about made just for you because you're priceless, and has a little barcode, so super cute. And I like to add that to my cards. I also have another one that says handmade with love. Sometimes I'll use those on the backs of my cards too. So just using easy tear tape again, just to adhere the card front to the card base and the inside to the card base as well. So super easy and simple. I love this easy tear tape. I know that that is never going anywhere. It is stuck down for life. So I don't have to worry about my cards coming apart or anything because this stuff is super, super sticky. And funny thing is, I didn't use my tape runner on this at all. Usually I pull out my tape runner for all my projects, but I didn't use it at all for this. I used my easy tear tape on most of it. So there they are in their fun, shaky little glory. I just love them. They're so fun. So here's some close-ups for you guys. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know in the comments below, and I'll do my best to answer, and I will link all the products that I use in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and thanks for being here. Have a great day. Bye-bye.